Hello and welcome to Doubles and Trebles. I've got Matt Pieman Hill back, and in this video we're here to talk about the hottest property in darts. Without any question, Josh Rock is that man, the man on the rise, astronomical rise really this year, but was flagged by this channel months ago at the start of this year, given us one of the youngsters to watch, and oh my words, has that paid off for the man who made that prediction, and the man who made that prediction is Pieman. Just talk to us about Josh Rock. I'll open the floor. Away you go.
Well, how long have we got here? I could do an
10
hour.
minutes.
I could do an hour. I won't do an hour. Let me say how satisfying it is to be doing a full video on Josh Rock and knowing that people will actually know who we're talking about now. Boy, will they know who we're talking about. I mean, this is a man that was flagged up in this channel as early as March this year as a hot prospect to watch, somebody to watch even for qualifying for majors. There might be some shrewdies on him at huge prices for the World Championship, but couldn't possibly confirm or deny. It's just astronomical, this rise, as you say, astronomical. That is very much the word. So the first thing I want to do is just run you through Josh Rock's year, because it's quite a phenomenal story. Rolling it right back to Q School in January. Josh Rock rocks up, 21-year-old chicken factory worker. He's looking to win a PDC Tour card, Northern Irishman, complete unknown. Wins his day and automatically wins a card. Now, even then, there was evidence of how good he could be. He beat Scott Williams, who has gone on to dominate on the Challenge Tour, won a Pro Tour event this year, of course. Ted Everts, the reigning world youth champion, and Nathan Rafferty. He beat all three of them on the same day to win his card. So by then, we should have already known that we had something a little bit special on our hands. He goes into these Pro Tours, and the first 4 Pro Tours he enters, he doesn't win a match, despite averaging 100 in 3 of them and 99 in the other one. And that was when we started to mention him on the channel as somebody to watch. And there'll be regular viewers who'll go, oh yeah, I do remember that actually. I didn't really take much notice of it at the time. Shame on you. He rocks up on the development tour, and you'll notice I'm using that rock up pun. I'm quite happy with that. Rocks up on the development tour, events 3, 4, and 5. He wins 2 of them and runner-up in the other. So that's 22 wins out of 23 across a weekend. His UK Open debut, he loses to Damien Moll, a fellow new tour card holder. So he remains relatively unexposed in the markets. And at this point, you'll remember as well as me, Adam, he's going in there 250 to 1, 300 to 1 for these Pro Tours. And we're putting him up, and he goes deep. He goes into quarterfinals, last 16s, but he doesn't quite cash. And week by week, month by month, people start to catch on that this lad is a little bit above the norm. But even still, I would still say he went under the radar for quite a long time. He got those first Pro Tour wins in March, and he started adding some real names to his hit list over the coming months. Some of the players he beat between March and July, he beat Dirk van Duijvenbode, Gerwin Price, James Wade, Adrian Lewis, Christoph Ratajski, Scott Williams again. So, you know, the suspense is building more and more. He makes a couple of quarterfinals on the floor, a Euro Tour debut, and then it's really kicked off in the last couple of months. August, he sets the highest average of the year on the entire PDC, 121 against Brendan Dolan, his countryman. It's the second time he's hit 110 plus averages against Dolan this year. September, he's on the Euro Tour on TV. He beats Damon Heta and Dirk van Duijvenbode on TV to make the quarterfinals. And then last month, I can't do October justice. He wins another development tour. Then he makes it all the way through to the World Youth Championship final, which will be played next month. He beats Johnny Clayton on TV. He beats Michael Smith on TV. He makes another Euro Tour quarter final. He rocks up at the Players' Championship. He makes the final of Players' Championship 25, losing to Chizzy. He wins Players' Championship 28. Ton plus averages all over the shop. By this point, the darting world is in meltdown. He rocks up at the European Championship last weekend as a 20 to 1 runner. 20 to 1 runner. And even that was being considered value by some people. He rocks up. He beats Nathan Aspinall 6-5 in the first round, which is an unbelievable scalp on your official TV debut. And then loses a classic 10-8 to Michael Smith, averaging 102. I don't know what more you have to say. This boy is the real deal, and we have seen a reaction in the World Championship market, as I'm sure you can expand on a little bit. I mean, the money that's come for Rock in the last month, crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, his best price, 20 to 1 now across the board, Pieman, and he will be going in, obviously, as an unranked player. first season holding a tour card, as you have explained, similarities have been drawn to Rob Cross, who did have that meteoric rise in his first year. You know, and I think that, you know, Josh Rock is going to go off at a similar price-ish to what Rob Cross went off the year he won it. There is a lot of similarities. But, Pie Man, I'm going to bring some hard luck punting story to this conversation. You were the man that flagged Josh Rock to me early doors this year, and I have backed. There's been 28 Players' Championship events this year. Josh Rock won number 28. He was in the region of 25-1 for that particular event. I did not back him on that occasion. So of 28 Players' Championship events, and he's not actually played in every one because he was the Euro Tour, the development tour clashed with it a couple of times. So there's been 28 events. I have backed this year Josh Rock 18 times. And I obviously, as viewers will know, and you well know, did not back him on the day that he won Players' Championship 28 at 20-1. I thought he was too short for that day, and I got egg on my face. But just going back to the price history, if you like, Pie Man, and he didn't start all that well, as you've said. He's had some absolute horror draws. I remember tweeting as far back as in June. He'd drawn, and that was even when he was still going off at 200-300-1. He'd drawn A.D. Lewis, Gerwyn Price. I think he drew Peter Wright one time. He was having some horror draws. I think he's actually drawn Gerwyn Price twice in the first round of Players' Championship events this year. Anyway, Players' Championship number 3. You flagged him up to me. I backed him at 500-1. And it continued at that price. That was obviously early in January, February time. In April, by Players' Championship 9, he was 175-1. Then you go into the likes of May at Players' Championship 14, he was 66-1. This is all well and good because his price deserves to be coming in. We still thought he was value and still continue to back him. By the time you get to June, he's still around the same price, 66, 18s. He actually drifted out a little bit at Players' Championship 17 and 18, where he was 125. And then he's come all the way into October, continuing to play well and going off 25-1, one of the favourites on the Players' Championship, on the tour, if you like. But not only that, Pie Man, as you've rightly said as well, he's gone off favourite to beat Nathan Aspinall on TV, on his TV debut. And then in the second round, almost inexplicably, and I couldn't believe it personally, I didn't get involved, but it's a hindsight job, he's gone off favourite to beat Michael Smith, the eventual runner-up, in the second round as well. So that just shows the rise of the man.
That's a good point you make, going off favourite against Aspinall and Smith. But what I think he did prove, I mean, I myself found myself looking at the market at that point thinking, is this an overreaction? I don't think you could say it was an overreaction. It would have taken a really brave man at the time to oppose him the way he was playing. You know, this is someone who, as we said, he's gone through Players' Championship 25-28 with a runner-up, two last 16s and a final. I mean, his win rate for the season is 76% on his debut season. It's just absolutely ridiculous. He's already beaten over half of the top 16, and the ones that he hasn't beaten, he almost exclusively hasn't played yet. So basically, all of the big players he's played at some point this year, he's won. And I'm talking Michael Smith, Gerwyn Price, Peter Wright, Aspinall, Dirk. You know, I mean, no messing with the quality of player he's beaten. Going into the European Championship, the PDC tweeted a statistical graphic saying that over the last 200 legs played by each competitor, his average was 102.1, which was 5 points better than the next nearest player, which is why the market reacted so dramatically. And his doubling was also the best in the field going into it. And the thing I liked about that performance at the European Championship, he didn't lose it. Michael Smith won it. Michael Smith played unbelievably well. And Rock did not bottle it. He didn't show any signs of nerves. I mean, if you're looking for an example of how he handled it on TV, all this talk going into the Aspinall game, all the money behind him, he was 5-3 up in that game. Aspinall dragged it back to 5-5, as he so often does. And he had Rock about 60 points behind with Rock throwing. And Rock comes in and fires in a huge 180. Totally shifts the momentum and just kills Aspinall. And Aspinall gave him like, I think we agree Nathan Aspinall's one of the best guys on the tour in terms of a genuine bloke. And Aspinall just gave him a pat on the back and sort of ruffled his hair. He knows what he's dealing with. All these guys know what he's dealing with. And we should just mention Barry Hearn as well gave Rock the big up on the Dart Show podcast earlier in the year.
Not before us, though, Pie Man.
Not before us. What I think
had
happened there is Barry had listened to doubles and trebles before he'd gone on and just followed on from what we'd said. But I watched an interview with Josh earlier today, and he was saying that he'd heard the Barry Hearn interview and he couldn't really believe his ears. So a really humble lad, come from a humble background, and it's just, you couldn't wish to see a better player doing well. I guess the question now is, what do we think about his prospects for the Worlds? Is it right that he's in the top 8 in the betting? And do you believe he can win the World Championship?
The short answer is no from me, Pie Man, this year, because as I say every year that we preview the Worlds, and this will be coming up to the 3rd year, I just think you need the experience of the venue, the set play, the crowd, the longevity of
people are going to throw Rob Cross at you if you say that, though.
They are, and Rob Cross was awesome, but he is a standout exception to the rule. When you think about every year, I say this: the likes of Phil Taylor, Raymond van Barneveld, Peter Wright, Van Gerwen, they've all lost in finals before going on to win a final.
Anderson,
exactly. So, they've all lost in finals or gone deep in the tournament before going on to win it. Yeah, A.D. Lewis won it without having lost in a final, and going way back when I think Priestley did, Rob Cross obviously did as well. So it can be done, but yeah, the one thing I do think, though, like you say in football sometimes, Paimon, it's like the youthful fearness that could well play in his hands, and he's going to be unranked. He's currently ranked about 55 in the world or something along those lines. So he's going to be he's almost certain to be unseeded, but he's a player absolutely no one will want to draw in that first or second round, because I think they draw the first and second round at the same time. He is going to be playing in the first round. There's no one. There probably won't be anyone at double figure odds playing in the first round, and he's going to be 20, 25 to 1 playing in the first round. Everyone else in the first round is going to be 100, 200. Just by virtue that they're that lowly seeded or ranked, really. But yeah, the one thing I would say, what stands out for me though, Pie Man, is the cool and calm confidence this man speaks with. He was interviewed after Players Championship 28 by the excellent Dan Dawson, and he was asked about the Worlds, as Dan always does. What's next or what could happen, and he said quite confidently and straight up, yes, I can win it. Not particularly brash or arrogant or anything like that. He's just stating the facts. That's how he's playing. That's how he's feeling. He's going to get the feel for the TV stage. He has already at the European Championship. He's going to be in the Players Championship finals at Minehead, I think it is. He's going to be in the Grand Slam He's going to be in the Grand Slam as well. As he qualified.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I was going to say. I think you've led on to it nicely there. In that the one thing he does have in his corner is that he's going to gain some more precious TV experience before he gets to Ali Pali. He's got the Players Championship finals in Minehead, as you say, and he does get in the Grand Slam. I was even doubting myself when preparing for this video as to whether he would be in that Grand Slam, but because he's won the development tour, they've altered the qualification criteria, so he will feature in the Grand Slam. And that experience, I mean, he's going to be on TV twice in the next 4 weeks before Ali Pali. So that is just precious experience. And if he goes and has a run in one of those 2 tournaments, then that just even builds the confidence even higher. I'm of the opinion that because of the nature of how Rock's come to prominence, round 1 and 2 is his big banana skin for me, because he is going to be the man everyone's come to see in that round 1, round 2. The crowd are going to be talking about him as the next big thing. There's going to be a big hype job from Sky for his first round game. Now that's a big banana skin. We see it every year. Gerwyn Price the last couple of years, and when he won it, Peter Wright when he won it. Often in that first game of the tournament, you have to dodge a bullet from a player that's playing above their normal standard. The thing is, I just look at Rock and I see a player who's going to come on an average 102 virtually all the time. And if you're going to beat him, you're going to have to average 106. Unfortunately, at the World Championship, that does happen. I mean, you'll remember I had Johnny Clayton at 50s last year, and he bumped into Michael Smith again, who produced a once in a lifetime almost level of performance. So these things do happen. I think the best thing for Rock is just to take it match by match, because in any individual match, he has a real chance. If he starts looking too far ahead and putting pressure on himself to win it or to reach the latter stages, problems could arise. I really, really want to see him against a Van Gerwen or a Price on that Ali Pali stage.
But it could happen at the Grand Slam before.
Yeah, it could.
Because
It could.
You can go to the Grand Slam in the group stages, which I don't really enjoy. But you can play 3 games, and even if you lose, or you could lose all 3 of them, but it's still the experience. I'm not saying you'll lose all 3 for definite. But I mean, would I be looking to back him at 25-1 for the Worlds? Absolutely not. There'll be people coming round who only watch our videos around the Worlds or only have a bet around the Worlds, and they'll see this fella and they'll think, who is that? There might have even been people logging on Saturday, with it being on ITV, logging on to the betting account and seeing Michael Smith as the outsider against a fella they've basically never heard of. They would almost think it was a Rick. And they might have, oh yeah, Michael Smith, how's he outsider against this fella I've never heard of, 11-10 and in their accumulator. And it actually turned out all right for those punters, because they had the winner in the end. But yeah, Josh Rock, the hottest property in darts, well worth an overdue video dedicated to the youngster. And yeah, he's going to be massively on. Before we finish up, Pie Man, I know you've got a final point to make. He's 1-16 to win the PDC Youth World Final, which I think
obscene price that on a one-off match, isn't it?
Isn't that used to be played during the World Championship? But
it is played. It is played on the finals night of the Players' Championship finals. There is the outside chance that Rock could play in the youth final and then the Players' Championship final back to back, which would just be sensational stuff. But
so it will be arriving at Ali Pali as the World Youth Champion, on the up, Players Tour winner, blah blah blah, you name it.
Yeah. And the one last thing I want to say is, Josh, if you're watching, I contacted your management company in March trying to get you on when nobody knew who you were. Now your stock has risen. I would really like it if you honoured that and came on Doubles and Trebles for a chat with us. All jokes aside, though, I'm a massive fan. I've said on the channel before this Players' Championship win, he's a future world champion. It was described as a big statement. A lot of people starting to agree with that prognosis now. Whatever happens, it's going to be an absolute joy to watch in the coming month or so, innit?
Absolutely. Great stuff. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back soon with more darting content.